She said, "Do you love me?" I tell her only partly. I only love my bed and my mom. I'm sorry. Oh boy, is that time of the week again, isn't it? Hello 1, Akib here, and in today's video, I'm gonna talk about my thoughts of the latest Macadamia chapter, chapter 238. So this chapter really follows up after the last chapter where Deku offers Aoyama to stand by him as another opportunity to still become a hero. After all, it wasn't that Aoyama wanted to go through with what he carried out against UA when he was undercover against his own will to be an informant to his parents for All For One. That said, the police detective calms the situation between where they feel bad for Aoyama doing this against his own will to protect his parents, which then goes to an idea to help Aoyama deceive All For One for what they did to Aoyama. While that was said, there was Bakugo, who wanted to destroy Aoyama after the stuff he's been through because of him, which is what Bakugo would definitely say, but I really don't blame him for saying that. Then we have Kirishima here, had to say to Aoyama, and when he spoke to him, he was not at all resenting Aoyama. Instead, he convinces Aoyama of the bright side of things, which led to Deku figuring out that him and his parents now have a chance to break free from All For One. Following up closely with what Deku said in the last chapter, we can get through this. Now, from those exchanges of words, Class 1A gets a FaceTime call from none other than Mr. Aizawa, their teacher. He asks Deku if he got a plan from the situation at hand, saying no with no concrete plan. Mr. Aizawa tells the police detective in the room that he takes full responsibility for not noticing what was going on under his nose and agrees to the students on giving Aoyama a second chance, as he stated to Aoyama that he has no intention to expel him from UA. Now, there's a point out there to hear this from Aizawa himself, who's infamous for expelling his students if they don't meet the requirements to become a hero. Aoyama, hearing this, continues to sob from his eyes, and that I respect Aizawa's decision. Given the circumstances Aoyama had to deal with, it wasn't all his fault, and he wasn't a villain at heart. After saying that, Aizawa devised a plan with the rest of Class 1A while Aoyama and his parents were present but had to wear soundproof headphones to not hear the plan. Soon later, after hearing Aizawa's plan, the UA staff and police detectives came to speculate a little bit about the so-called plan and then ask the students not to mention a word of their plan to anyone else. Then, as the police escort Aoyama and his family outside UA, Deku shouts out Aoyama's name, where he turns to that direction, only to look back away, instantly from feeling guilty of betraying his classmates. We see the whole Class 1A in a dorm living room, seeing the students gather around, deciding it's time to gear up, and with that, Tenin Ida talks to Deku about their hero costume conditions, which needs to be repaired. After their small talk, we see Hagakure clenches her fist in rage, saying we'll definitely defeat them, and the whole Class 1A altogether synchronized say yes, with the anger expression written over their faces with determination to score up to All For One for what he did to their classmate Aoyama. From the epic sequence, we see an enraged Deku heading towards the development studio workshop, and just like Deja Vu from the first season, as soon as Deku was in front and about to open the door, it exploded on him. And as you all may remember for what happened the first time, it happened again with pink-haired Hasume landing on top of Deku with her big breasts right on his nose. This time around, they landed on his face as Hasume, just seeming to be unbothered what just happened, saying her hellos to Deku, that it has been a while since they last met. Which is true. I mean, I can't remember the last time we saw her in the anime or manga, especially from the last season of Macadamia, when her name was mentioned during the joint training arc with Class 1B. Tenya is shocked from what just happened, and probably was stunned that this happened once again to Deku. And while being crushed by Hasume's chest, Deku still has his stone cold serious expression in his eyes from earlier, while having Hasume's chest on top of his face as the chapter ends there. And then the heat just rises and rises. Everybody from Class 1A wants to get payback against All For One after what he orchestrated in Japan, on top of putting their classmate and friend Aoyama through hell through these difficult times. After what just happened right now, they're gonna go all out to get All For One, especially the epic panel where it shows everyone angry expression. That panel right there is an actual definition of Avengers Assemble. Just like the MCU villain Mysterio has said before, this is an Avengers level threat. Now, can we talk about how Deku right here is catching these bodies left to right, like an anime MC harem protagonist? Now, way back then when it happened in the beginning of Macadamia, where Hasume lands on Deku chest on accident in front of Ochaco, Deku was hella startled of seeing her breasts on him, but not this time around. The scenario is different where it's now brawls over holes now. Now seeing that Deku doesn't seem to be fazed by Hasume's breast literally on his face. To him, none of that matters as his closest friend, Aoyama, has been used and hurt many times by All For One. And you can see back from the panel, Deku's expression just shows he wants to take down All For One. Despite being bothered by Hasume, Deku has no time for these shenanigans, for catching these bodies, and wants to restore his close friend to become a hero. Plus, let's be honest, Deku only has one girl on his mind since the beginning of Macadamia, and we all know who she is, his classmate and one of his closest friends, Ochaco Uraraka. Now to wrap things up until the next chapter, we get to see the repairs on the hero costumes of Tenyi Ida and Deku. And heck who knows, maybe Deku and Tenyi Ida will get new costumes. And most likely the rest of Class 1A will do the same before they go after All For One, as well as the last remaining League of Villains. Until next week when the new chapter releases, we'll see what follows up after this chapter. But when that happens, I hope you enjoy this video. And if you do, please give this video a like. And if you want to consider subscribing to my channel for more Macadamia content like this. Also follow my Twitter down in the description below at AKIP. See y'all soon on my next video. And later everyone, AKIP is leaving the building.